As humans, we all have shortcomings, and there's things about yourself that you may not like, things that you cannot change, and this is natural. Nobody is perfect. I've struggled with many issues in my life, many of which had resulted in a lack of confidence in myself, in my thoughts, in my appearance, and in the way in which I interacted with others. These limiting beliefs that I bestowed upon myself, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not smart enough, that I'm not skilled enough, these all had some pretty negative effects, mixed with the fact that I was spending too much time stressing, too much time caring about things that didn't really make any sense to care about, and worrying about things that I could not change. And so I'm not a guru, I'm not a self-help person. I don't want you to walk away from this video with a nice fluffy feel-good feeling, but no actual actionable steps. That's what we're all about here. And so in this video, I'm gonna give you some actionable things that I use to not only increase confidence, but also how to care less in certain situations. And I think this is just really was helpful for me for mental health and for really just relieving some stress. So let's start with this, and let's start with the most actionable of these tips, things that I've actually implemented, which is so simple. It's so practical of an idea that you can start utilizing today to really make a difference in confidence and just caring less overall. All right, so I'm gonna be sharing some of this from a personal experience, but one thing that I really lacked confidence in especially was communication. Whether this is getting up on a stage, talking to a number of people, maybe it's interviewing for a job, maybe it's asking somebody out on a date, or maybe you're nervous to meet your girlfriend's parents for the first time. Whatever it might be, I think a lot of us can get nervous or lose confidence when communicating with other people. So how do we fix this problem? Well, we can actually use, once again, the 80-20 rule, because this applies to many areas of life. And so it turns out that somewhere between 70 and 93% of communication from person to person is nonverbal. It's not the actual words that you're saying, it's the actions, it's how you're presenting yourself. And so by understanding this is something that I was able to look at the problem here, which, I'm not good at communicating with other people. I was able to look at the problem and then work backwards from this and find a solution to it. So for me to increase confidence in myself, what I did is I started to focus on the actions, focus on the physical things that you're doing, eye contact, good posture, making sure that you're standing up straight, make sure that you are displaying confidence, which not only projects confidence that you are confident, but also makes you feel more confident as a person. And there's quite a bit of research on this. I remember learning this from a TED Talk many, many years ago, back when I think I was in high school, and it was probably the most influential TED Talk in my life. Such a simple concept, and maybe I'll link to it down below, or I'll try to remember to do that, because it was so interesting that I think everyone should watch it. It just talks about body language, and it depends on how you're presenting yourself. So if you are in a job interview and your arms are crossed, this is something that sort of not only tells you that you're a little bit standoffish, but it also tells the person that you're sort of closed, right? If you're looking down, if you're not looking somebody in the eye when you're talking to them or they're talking to you, these are all very important things that not only will not display confidence to the person that you're talking to, but you yourself won't feel confident if you're sort of closed up, if you're looking down. And so just focus on those simple body language techniques, like spreading out a little bit. Doesn't mean you have to be like sprawled out everywhere, but usually when I'm somewhere where I'm feeling a little bit less confident, I'll make it a point to, just make sure I take up a little bit of space. And this is a mental thing in our head. It really is. There's a lot of research on this that shows that it does increase confidence by just asserting a more of a dominant pose, I suppose we could call it. Now, if you're gonna get anything out of this video, I want you to understand this one key concept, and it's whenever you have something that maybe you're worrying about, you're stressing about, you're thinking about too much, it's to ask yourself these three important questions. And these three questions are, is this something that I can control? Is this something that I can change? Or is this something that I can let go of? And this is what I determine. I ask these questions to determine whether I should spend energy even thinking about something like this. And so, for example, the sun's gonna blow up one day and we might all die. That sucks, right? But what I'll do is I'll ask myself, can I control this? No. Can I change this? Probably not. And can I let go of this? No, it's gonna happen regardless. So that sounds pretty pessimistic and terrible, but instead, it triggers something in my brain to say, well, if I can't control it, I can't change it, and I can't let go of it, therefore there's really no point in spending energy thinking about it or wasting time on it. And let's take another example. Let's say maybe police brutality is a big issue in your area. Is this something you can control? Maybe not directly, but is this something you can change? Yes, you can. You can run for office, you can do certain things, you can be very active in your community, and you can work towards changing this. So therefore, because you said yes to one of these three questions, it's then therefore worth your time to think about it and to figure out how to fix this problem versus something that might be like blowing up the sun that doesn't really make any sense for us to spend energy on. So understanding those 3 points, that if you can't change it, you can't control it, you can't let go of it, then we probably shouldn't spend too much energy on it. It's very crucial. But I really did a lot of digging here to try to figure out why in some cases I was not confident. And when I really dug, I found that I think most people assume that in order to be confident, you just have to be grateful for what you have. You have to look at perspective and say, well, you know, I have this, I have that, so I should be confident as a person. But I think this is almost the wrong type of thinking. Now, look, gratitude is very important. I'm extremely grateful for what I have. I'm extremely grateful for everything I have in my life. But I don't think that's really where confidence comes from. And this is what people get wrong here, okay? I think confidence comes from what you don't have. And follow along here, because I think this is hopefully going to all come together here. But it comes from what you don't have. So if you want to be confident, the best thing to do is become comfortable with what you're fearing as an outcome of something. So a great example of this is, let's go back to the age-old example of asking somebody out. Well, why might not you ask somebody out? Because you like them, right? But you decide not to do it because you're not confident. And why you're not confident? Because you're worried that your ego is going to get crushed, or that they're going to say no, you're going to get rejected, and so you're scared of the potential outcome, and so you don't do it. So the real confidence comes from limiting that fear of the worst possible outcome in a situation. The reason why we're not confident in a job interview is because we're constantly thinking about, what if we don't get the job? What if I'm not qualified for the job? What if I get the job and then a week later I get fired because they realize that I'm just not competent for the job? So limiting that fear, finding a way to confront those fears is, I think, one of the most important things. And that's why it goes back to something that I always work on. If I want to be more confident on something, I work on confronting my fears as much as possible. So if I find myself really not confident in my speaking abilities, I'll double down on speaking. I'll force myself to go out and speak to more people. And it really, I believe, is what can make you more confident. And it's not the external things that people see, because sometimes we have these beliefs that are sort of just ingrained in our brains that say, if you want to be more confident, then just start working out more often, start doing this more often, maybe this and that, right? Start to do these external things to look better as a person. But I couldn't tell you how many people I know who are multimillionaires, who are not confident, models who are terribly not confident, they're insecure, people who would be seen as really successful, should be confident people. A lot of them are not confident at all. So it's not all external, a lot of it is internal. So limiting those fears is the most crucial part to all of this. I know it's difficult, but that is how we become more confident. That's why I've become a more confident speaker in the past few years, because I started this YouTube channel. And I've said this before, but this is one of the reasons why I started, because I want to become a better speaker. And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to start making videos. I'm going to put them out there, and maybe by the 200th video, I'll be able to speak and communicate a little bit better, which I think I have gotten better since my early videos, many of which I deleted because they were so absolutely horrendous. All right, so thanks for watching. I hope you did find some value in this and sort of just give you some insight on what I believe confidence comes from, where it comes from. And if you liked it, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and we'll see everybody in next week's video.